Right now, most people are one unexpected expense away from being broke. That's one car problem, one bill, and just one bad month. And everything will fall apart. And it's not because they're careless or anything like that. It's just because they didn't save. And that's where I really wanted to focus in on today's video is I want to get people's mindsets to change about saving, why it's so important. I want to make it in not such a boring way because a lot of people look at saving as this boring thing. It's because we're so used to having everything in the now, and I want to kind of change your brain in terms of thinking that way. I want to make it in a, I don't want you to be literally saving every single penny that you have and not being able to have any fun with life. Because in reality, we only have X amount of time on this planet, and you do want to enjoy life as the now as well. But we just need to do it in more of a realistic way. And this is going to vary depending on person to person. And saving money isn't just about having that extra cash, it's about having control over your life. A lot of people currently right now are living paycheck to paycheck, which always saddens me. Um, I'm I wouldn't say that I'm living paycheck to paycheck, but I am living a more tighter life, but I'm a very frugal person. I don't typically spend anything. I don't spend my money on anything that I do not use, and I don't spend extra cash that I know that I should be saving on something that I want and quote unquote want because I know that I don't actually need it. And that's where I differ from a lot of people, and I want to try to get in that mindset of try to be more frugal with your money instead of spending on everything that you want. In reality, ask yourself, do I actually need this? Am I going to use this? And if the if you answer that saying no or I'm not sure, then you should probably hold off on purchasing that. Just hold off 24 hours or give it a couple days and see if you still want that same item. And you kind of go from there on your day-to-day purchases of or thoughts about purchases, and that's how you kind of change that mindset. And it's sad to me that people do still live paycheck to paycheck because every one of their dollars comes in, it goes towards bills, it goes towards food, it goes towards gas, and just a lot of miscellaneous spending. And at the end of the month, they have nothing left. There's no backup plan, there's no safety net, and they're just hoping nothing goes wrong. But life doesn't work that way. And at the end of the day, things will go wrong. It's more of when and how prepared we are for those things. Your your car might break. You might lose your job. That's a really bad one. If you lose your job, you really have to have a good safety net to prepare for those unexpected things. And when it does happen, if you don't have those savings, you won't have very many options. Some people can't fall back on family or friends to help them out. You kind of just have to continue grinding on day-to-day basis. And if you spent a little bit of time focusing more on your saving power and your just money management, we can kind of fix those types of situations that end up happening in life. We can kind of minimize those risks or those big hits in terms of if you lost your job, you're not going to have to worry so much for X amount of time because you have money set aside for those things. And saving money honestly isn't just about the numbers in a bank account. It's more about having that freedom. When you have the money saved, you're not in this stuck mindset. You don't have to panic every time something unexpected happens. You don't have to say yes to things you don't want to do just because you need the money. Saving gives you breathing room. It gives you that time to think, that time to decide, time to move differently. And that's something most people don't realize until they don't have it. And think about it, how stressful it actually is when your account is low or every purchase feels risky and every bill feels kind of heavy. You start checking your balances constantly and you start overthinking everything. That kind of stress is just a lot of times it can be unnecessary and avoided. And that stress will affect your focus, your mood, your decision making. And the worst part of all this is that that becomes kind of the normal. You get used to living in that constant pressure, but it doesn't have to be like that. So, why don't people actually save? It's always been a big question to me. It, and I've always put a lot of time and effort into understanding this. It seems to be that they just don't understand how important it is. It's, I feel like saving to most people, it feels hard to them. You think, or they think, I don't make enough money, or I'll start when I have more money, or I'll save later, and later always keeps getting pushed back. And another reason is spending money is easy. It feels good in the moment to spend money, buying something for yourself, ordering food, upgrading things you don't really need. It gives you that instant satisfaction. And saving, it honestly, you don't feel that kind of right away. So it's easier to ignore. And here's something a lot of people just don't understand is you don't need to save a lot to start. You just need to start. Even if it's $5 here or $10 there, it's not about the amount. It's about building that consistent habit. Because once saving becomes something you actually do and you start to understand and it's just a regular habit for you, it gets easier and easier over time. And you start thinking differently. You become more aware of your spending. You start asking yourself, do I actually need that? Like I was talking about earlier. You make these small changes, small decisions, and they will add up over time. And saving money builds more than just your bank account. It builds that discipline. It builds the patience. It builds confidence in yourself because when you know you have something saved, you feel different. You move different. You're not constantly worried. You're not constantly reacting. You're in control of your money. You're in control of your life. And that changes everything. You don't need to be perfect about saving. You don't need to cut everything out. Just start taking control over that. Be aware of where your money is going. Make those small changes. Spend a little less on things that don't actually matter. Save a little more for things that do actually matter. It doesn't have to be extreme. It just has to be consistent. At the end of the day, it's simple. You can spend money, you can spend everything you make, or you can start building something for yourself and watch it grow over time. And all right, guys. Well, I hope this video helped out in any way possible. And in the future, I will be making a separate video actually detailing more about advice on what you should be saving and how much you should be saving and where you should save these things and relating to that. And I will go ahead and close out. If you've made it all the way through this video and you've liked what you've heard, feel free to drop a like, and I hope you all have a great day, and I will catch you guys on the next one.